On the day of my twin brother's burial, Xu Wen sat desolately before the grave for 3 days, refusing to eat or drink. Who among the villagers did not lament the profound yet fleeting bond between the two? Even my own mother questioned me, demanding to know why I had to take Xu Wen away. It seemed that everyone had chosen to selectively forget that Xu Wen was my wife for 32 years. At midnight, I stumbled across the bustling roadway, a truck speeding towards me. I could evade it. Yet, I found no desire to escape. Xu Wen pushed me aside and fell into a pool of her own blood. She implored me, should there be a next life, to return her to my brother, unblemished and whole. What does unblemished truly mean? I laughed maniacally. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself transported back to the winter of 1977, at the very inception of my disordered fate. 1. Xiao Wu, are you truly not reconciling with Xu Wen? She is, after all, the most beautiful girl in the village, utterly devoted to you. You must contemplate this carefully. Zhou Yunwu scoffed derisively, responding with disdain, Mother, I am about to embark on my university journey. Soon I shall be a college student. Regardless of the circumstances, I must marry a city girl.
Xu Wen,
merely a fleeting dalliance. Observing his mother's hesitation, he tenderly embraced her, indulging in a playful display of affection. Mother, consider this. Once I marry a city girl, secure a position in the city, and bring you to live there, our Zhou family will flourish. You will finally honor my late father. Noticing a softening in his mother's demeanor, he seized the moment. Since you like Xu Wen, why not pair her with my brother?
No, no.
His mother vehemently shook her head, resolute in her stance. I permitted your brother to relinquish his university opportunity for you, but this matter with Xu Wen is absolutely out of the question. A woman cannot serve 2 husbands without inviting ridicule upon our family. Mother. Zhou Yunwu feigned an attempt to crash into the wall, declaring dramatically, if you do not acquiesce, I shall throw myself to my demise. His mother, clutching her son from behind, lamented, my dear child, are you truly seeking to take your mother's life?
I concede.
Is that not sufficient? I stood outside, peering through the crack in the door, witnessing their theatrical exchange in its entirety. So this was the truth. So it had come to this. In my previous life, though I harbored feelings for Xu Wen, I never expressed them nor transgressed any boundaries. Upon discovering my brother and Xu Wen's romantic involvement, I felt a pang of sorrow, yet I concealed it. I kept my distance from Xu Wen, refraining from initiating conversation. However, one day when Xu Wen visited my home to see my brother, I found myself caught in an uncompromising situation with her, exposed to the villagers' scrutiny. It became evident that this entire scheme was orchestrated by my dear brother and my beloved mother. How foolish I was to have felt guilt over this matter in my past life, willingly sacrificing my precious opportunity for higher education for my brother. He became the university student Zhou Yunwen, while I, under the guise of Zhou Yunwu, wed Xu Wen. It turned out they had long coveted my chance at higher education. My dear brother, Xu Wen, I return you to him. The opportunity for university, please restore it to me. In just 1 month, I shall depart from this village to attend Kyoto University. 2. Zhou Yunwen. I turned at the sound, spotting Xu Wen waving at me from a distance.
Xu Wen,
with her delicate features, was the village belle, captivating many young men. Yet her heart belonged solely to my brother, Zhou Yunwu. A pang of pain struck my heart, as her youthful visage intertwined with that of her older self. My mind flooded with memories of her pleading in a pool of blood, urging me to return her to my brother unsullied in the next life. Zhou Yunwen, I am calling you. Did you not hear? Noticing my dazed silence, Xu Wen approached and playfully nudged me toward the nearby grove. I instinctively recoiled 2 meters away, frowning. Xu Wen, there are distinctions between men and women. Let us converse without such physicality. Xu Wen stood frozen, scrutinizing my expression closely. From the moment she called my name, I realized she too had been reborn. I loathed my understanding of her, yet she evidently did not grasp my nature as I did hers. Hastily, she concluded that she alone had been granted a second chance at life, bubbling with excitement, convinced that no one could thwart her desire to be with Xiao Wu. As I attempted to depart, Xu Wen's voice, tinged with an eerie quality, echoed behind me, sounding both like a soliloquy and a warning. Zhou Yunwen, whether you deem my words nonsensical or absurd, I must speak them. Do not harbor feelings for me. I possess no affection for you whatsoever. My heart belongs to your brother. Should you resort to underhanded tactics to compromise my integrity, even if I am forced to marry you, I would rather destroy my health than bear your children. We would become eternal adversaries. Xu Wen knew precisely how to pierce my heart. She was acutely aware that my inability to father children had been my lifelong burden. In our past life, even after our marriage, she would not allow me to touch her. I understood that marrying her was a source of grievance for her. I would yield to her every condition, believing that one day, my sincerity would win her over. It was only later, when my brother married a city girl and produced 2 children, that her heart gradually grew cold toward him. I lavished her with affection for 32 years, even when she claimed she could not bear children. I remained devoted. I took upon myself the blame for her infertility, while the villagers mocked me as a handsome but useless man. I was grateful that it was I who bore the brunt of their scorn, sparing Xu Wen from such ridicule. Yet, it was she who was unwilling to bear my children. Xu Wen, you have deceived me profoundly. I turned away, catching sight of Xu Wen joyfully bounding along, and I touched my face, only to find it damp with tears. I whispered, Xu Wen, I promise you, I shall return you to your brother, untainted. May you find fulfillment in this life, and may I be granted a new beginning. 3. Zhou Yunwen, mother is calling you inside to prepare dinner. Zhou Yunwu emerged, hollering at me, having always addressed me by my name with little regard for respect. I lifted my gaze to scrutinize my twin brother, who bore a striking resemblance to me, and a surge of anger welled within me. Indeed, we were of the same lineage, yet our fates diverged so drastically. Since childhood, Zhou Yunwu had mastered the art of charm, his fair, endearing appearance winning the adoration of many, while I, possessing a more reserved and taciturn disposition, could not compare to his popularity. My mother adored parading her young Zhou Yunwu around the village, basking in the compliments of those who praised her precious son. He basked in her favoritism, growing up without the burdens of responsibility, while I, the less favored, was left to shoulder the weight of our household. I understood the value of hard work early on, assisting my mother with chores and laboring in the fields, gradually becoming the backbone of our family. It can be said that I toiled to support my brother and mother, yet they took my sacrifices as a matter of course. In my previous life, Zhou Yunwu usurped my opportunity for university, but his lack of diligence led to his failure to graduate, squandering the precious chance that could have been mine. Fortunately, his handsome visage and silver tongue secured him a city girl as a wife. Our mother would boast to anyone who would listen, "Oh, how did you know my Xiao Wu was coming to take me to live in the city?" Her laughter was filled with pride. Yet, she waited day after day at the village's edge, never receiving the anticipated visit from Zhou Yunwu. Eventually, unable to bear it any longer, I called Zhou Yunwu, only to be met with a terse busy before he hung up. I cautiously reassured my mother, "Xiao Wu is occupied. Perhaps I could take you to visit him during the off-season." Surely, he would not turn her away and allow her to stay for a few days. It would fulfill her longing to live in the city and silence the gossip of the villagers. Yet, to my astonishment, my mother erupted in fury upon hearing my suggestion, hurling the most venomous words at me, striking me, all while insinuating that I was trying to sow discord between her and Zhou Yunwu. It was then that I comprehended the harsh truth. In the eyes of both my mother and brother, I was nothing more than an outsider. Their relationship, for better or worse, was beyond my influence. Henceforth, whenever conflicts arose between my mother and brother, I remained a mere observer, quietly listening to her scold him, only to receive her praise for my understanding nature. Villagers would intentionally provoke her, asking, "Why have you not yet moved to the city?" My mother would respond sheepishly, "Soon, soon," both amusing and pitiful. Until the day I perished, my mother never realized her dream of living with her beloved younger son. In this life, let my mother experience enough of living with her youngest son. The wife and mother I had known in my previous life, I returned to Zhou Yunwu. Reflecting on this, I shed the sorrow that had previously marred my features, deliberately adopting a fierce demeanor, and retorted, "Zhou Yunwu, first and foremost, I am your brother. Kindly exhibit some manners. Furthermore, cooking is not solely my responsibility. If you desire a meal, you may also contribute to its preparation. Lastly, please inform mother that I am not hungry, and that she and the others should proceed with their meal without calling for me." I brusquely shouldered past him, who remained momentarily stunned, and returned directly to the house. Kindness can often be taken for granted. I have resolved never to be the good person again in this lifetime. "Xu Wen, do you think mother is getting old? After merely 2 days of household chores, she already complains of back pain." I cast a fleeting glance at my mother, noting that her discomfort appeared more related to her eyes than her back. Since childhood, I have shared the burden of chores with her, and as I matured, I became her primary support. Now, after just a 2-day respite, she regards me with a disapproving stare. Yet Zhou Yunwu has never lifted a finger, not even to assist with the soy sauce bottle. Why does she not reprimand him? Seeing that I was not engaging, my mother flung down the kitchen knife, pointed a finger at me and scolded, "Zhou Yunwen, I see that just because you've been accepted into university you think you can act superior. You neglect both household duties and farming tasks. Are you trying to turn the world upside down? Perhaps you should let your brother attend university instead." The truth of her words was laid bare. It mattered not. I would take action. I burst out of the door, running in circles around the village while shouting at the top of my lungs. I refuse to live. I worked hard to get into university, yet my mother wants me to relinquish my place for my brother. I might as well end my life to avoid being a burden. "Xu Wen, come back. Let us discuss this calmly." My mother chased after me, attempting to silence my outcry. Stopping was not an option, nor was dying. After circling the village, I ensured that every villager was aware of the depths of my mother's favoritism. In my past life, I suffered from being reticent, holding my feelings inside. This time, I would not remain silent. Speaking out was effortless. As I noticed more and more villagers gathering behind me, I decided the moment was ripe and slowed my pace towards the riverbank, where I was swiftly caught by Uncle Zhao, who held me firmly. I pretended to struggle towards the water, repeatedly voicing my grievances about my mother's bias towards my brother. My mother attempted to pull me back, but Uncle Zhao blocked her efforts. "Enough of this nonsense." Village Chief Li emerged from the crowd, his expression stern. "Guifen, did you truly suggest that your younger son replace his brother at university?" My mother sought to defend her actions but was interrupted by the villagers' outcries. My reputation as an honest individual was well established. Whatever I declared, the villagers knew to be the truth. My mother's face flushed a deep crimson. She valued her pride above all, and in this instance, she had lost both face and substance. She looked to me for help, but I merely averted my gaze in silent indignation. Turning to my brother, I saw that he, too, was avoiding her gaze, hiding at the back of the crowd. Finally, she relented, mumbling, "I was only joking with Xu Wen." Joking? Can such matters be treated lightly? Since Zhou Guofu's passing, my mother's behavior has become increasingly irrational. Village Chief Li decisively stated, "Do not ever mention the idea of replacing a son at school again. That is illegal." "I understand now. I won't dare to mention it again," my mother replied meekly. My eyes scanned the crowd until they landed on my brother, whose face was twisted with resentment. I could tell that this matter was far from over. Throughout our lives, anything that belonged to me was his to take without question. He would only offer me the scraps he deemed unworthy. In my past life, my mother was among those scraps. That evening, my mother surprisingly boiled 3 eggs. She, my brother, and I each received one. Previously, she would only boil 2 eggs, claiming that my brother and I should share. Yet, I always felt sorry for her and willingly relinquished my egg. It turns out the simplest solution was to simply boil 3 eggs. "Xiao, are you home?" I heard Xu Wen's voice from outside. Zhou Yunwu shot me a triumphant glance, his head held high as he strutted out. I felt a wave of discomfort, attributing it to withdrawal symptoms. After all, I had spent 30 years married to Xu Wen in my previous life. The memories lingered like shards of glass, some even sweet. "Xu Wen, don't be angry with your brother. He has a temper. Please be more forgiving." My mother smiled at me, seeking to placate. A question I had harbored for a long time burst forth. "Mother, I was born merely a minute before Zhou Yunwu. Is that minute worth such a stark difference in your treatment? You have always told me that as the elder brother, I must care for him and shoulder the responsibilities, but I am only a minute older. Can you not be less biased?" At my words, my mother's eyes glistened with unshed tears, cascading down her cheeks. She felt wronged, exclaiming, "How have I favored anyone? Your father left us too soon. I have had to be both father and mother to you too. It hasn't been easy. And now you accuse me? Is it only when I am gone that you will be satisfied?" In the past, I would have knelt and apologized to her. However, in my previous life, I learned a term, pue. My mother was attempting to manipulate me, shedding tears for my benefit while reserving her smiles for my brother. No child should bear the weight of their parents' negative emotions. Seeing me stand with my arms crossed, coldly observing her, She could no longer cry and instead busied herself with the dishes. Zhou Yunwu, carrying a bag of pastries, entered with a beaming face. Xu Wen said she needs to speak with you. Ever since I had pointed out his rudeness, he had taken to omitting my name entirely. Noticing me seated on a stool, he grew impatient, exclaiming, Xu Wen is waiting outside for you. You accuse me of being impolite. Yet I see the real rudeness lies with you. I cast him a disinterested glance. Even if you marry Xu Wen, what law mandates that I must meet my sister-in-law? Why should it concern you? Zhou Yunwu, accustomed to being domineering, attempted to drag me outside, but he, lacking any physical labor experience, could not match my strength. I stood firm as a mountain, while he panted like an exhausted dog, unable to budge me. As my mother witnessed our stalemate, she grabbed a stick and struck my knee, siding with my brother. I seized the weapon from her grasp and threw it to the ground, splintering it into pieces, and my last remnants of affection for her dissipated. I gazed deeply at her, then exited as she wished. Zhang Suifan stood in shock, feeling as though her eldest son had become a stranger. The coldness in my eyes had unnerved her. For the first time, she questioned whether she had erred in her actions. She murmured to herself, as if to reassure and bolster her own confidence. No, it can't be. Xu Wen wouldn't be angry with me. Xu Wen tenderly tended to Zhou Yunwu's reddened hand, grumbling, Zhou Yunwan, as the elder brother, can you not constantly bully your younger brother? I had confirmed through my past life that, regardless of circumstances, my mother and Xu Wen both favored my brother over me. Yet, they persistently tore open my wounds and poured salt into them. To truly heal, the festering flesh must be excised. I lowered my head to conceal my bitterness, then raised my face to regain my hardened demeanor. Coldness was my facade, my armor, my final vestige of pride. I had indeed bullied my brother, but he was still my brother. Closing the door was a family matter, and it was of no concern to an outsider like her. Xu Wen gasped, Zhou Yunwen, how can you possess such deplorable character? Bullying your own brother. How shameless. You should be ashamed, yet you take pride in your actions. Indeed, I am lowly, and you are noble. I, the lowly one, shall take my leave so as not to obstruct the view of your high-mindedness, I retorted, turning to leave. Xu Wen stepped in front of me, blocking my path. I regarded her with cold indifference as she averted her gaze, hesitating before finally asking, what happened to your leg? My knee throbbed painfully from my mother's earlier strike, causing me to limp as I walked. What business is it of yours? If you have something to say, then say it. Xu Wen, Zhou Yunwu urged. Xu Wen understood that Zhou Yunwu's request was inappropriate, yet reflecting on the regrets of her previous life, she reluctantly acquiesced to his wishes and uttered, Zhou Yunwan, your academic performance is commendable. Why not relinquish your opportunity to attend university to Shaowu? You may take the entrance examination again next year. Why are both of you trying to coerce me? Hadn't Xu Wen always touted her integrity? I pressed my hand against my heart, only to discover that apart from the initial pangs of anguish, I had grown numb. It seemed that my withdrawal from Xu Wen had reached its conclusion. I lifted my gaze to the sky, feeling as though I had finally broken free from my shackles, truly capable of pursuing the freedom that belonged to me. Zhou Yunwu, in his impatience, urged, don't look at the sky. Speak to me. What does it matter to you? I regarded this brother of mine. We shared the same mother and should have been the closest of kin. Yet our mother had molded us into two opposing personalities, rendering us adversaries. Xu Wen, do not seek me out any longer. I cannot assist my brother. I hesitated for a moment, but despite the difficulty, I clearly articulated, I wish you both a long and prosperous life together, with children to bless your union. Upon hearing this, Xu Wen staggered back several steps, her complexion paling as she gazed at me with heartbreak, as if my words were not a blessing but a malevolent curse. Yet, was this not what she desired? I found it perplexing. Could it be that, without the most devoted admirer, she too would feel a sense of loss? In the following half-month, my mother grew markedly quieter, often seeming to hesitate in her words when addressing me, though I feigned ignorance. Zhou Yunwu, on the other hand, relished the opportunity to regale me with tales of how wonderful Xu Wen was, recounting how they had shared intimate moments. I dismissed his words as mere nonsense, counting down the days until my departure. Finally, only 7 days remained before I could escape from a family that did not love me, and embark on my journey to the university I longed for. Zhou Yunwen, did you even hear what I said? Zhou Yunwu shoved me, and I lazily dug into my ears before replying, I heard you. Why do you care about my admission letter? I also heard you suggest that I trade my university qualification for Xu Wen, but I refuse. I laughed mockingly, realizing that in both this life and the last, Xu Wen held little significance in Zhou Yunwu's heart. She had deceived me for a lifetime, all for someone who did not cherish her. I felt a profound sense of worthlessness. You refuse? On what grounds do you dare to refuse? Zhou Yunwu's expression contorted with rage as he shrieked. Do you not like Xu Wen? If I give her to you, you ought to be grateful and accept my arrangement. You marry Xu Wen, and I will take your place at university. So it was that my intentions had been so transparent in my previous life, allowing my brother and Xu Wen to manipulate me repeatedly. Thankfully, I had awakened in this life. I replied coldly, when did I ever claim to have feelings for Xu Wen? Should I hear such rumors outside, I will ensure you regret it. Xu Wen refrained from speaking so much. My mother interjected, attempting to mediate. I shrugged nonchalantly, observing my mother and Zhou Yunwu whispering to one another. I discerned their scheming, yet I merely needed to navigate these final 7 days cautiously. One day, home alone, upon seeing Xu Wen come to find my brother, I guess they were attempting to employ the same tactics once more. After half a month apart, Xu Wen's demeanor had shifted dramatically, her once bright and generous spirit now replaced by a somber aura. She had come to realize that both she and I had been ensnared by Zhou Yunwu in our previous lives. Upon learning that Xiao Wu had invited her to the Zhou household for a rendezvous, she surmised that Zhou Yunwu had orchestrated the manipulation between her and Zhou Yunwen. Still, deep down, she clung to a flicker of hope regarding Zhou Yunwu, unwilling to accept that the man she had loved across 2 lifetimes had cast her into the arms of another. Xu Wen, I called out, if you wish to be with Zhou Yunwu, I can assist you. She eyed me warily, what do you want? I shook my head. You are an astute individual. If my brother truly takes my place at university, do you believe he will still wish to marry you? Xu Wen pondered this, her previous confidence in Xiao Wu's intentions wavering. She had no alternative path. Her body had already been given to Xiao Wu, making her his forever. This was her obsession since her rebirth. When my mother, accompanied by a throng of villagers, arrived at our home intending to stage a scandalous confrontation, I had already concealed myself in the woodshed. Soon, my mother's voice echoed throughout the house. Xiao Wu, how did you end up here? Xu Wen, why are you here too? You too. I remained hidden behind the door, observing the chaos unfolding in the courtyard, my heart tranquil as a calm lake. Xu Wen, have you finally achieved your desires? Are you content? Xu Wen's family began pressuring for marriage, demanding an exorbitant bride price, or they would accuse my brother of misconduct. My mother, in desperation, surrendered all the family's savings to the Su family and promised to gather the required dowry to secure Xu Wen's hand, ultimately persuading them to depart. Once they had left, I returned to my mother and the others. My brother rushed over, seizing my clothing and shouting, where have you been? Why is it not you sleeping with Xu Wen? I pulled my shirt back, coldly retorting, Zhou Yunwu, Xu Wen is your girlfriend. If you enjoy wearing a green hat, that is your affair. Do not smear me with your filthy accusations. I have no connection with Xu Wen. Should I hear such rumors again, I will not hesitate to retaliate. You are the one who plotted against me. Zhou Yunwu's eyes blazed with fury. He lunged at me, and we engaged in a fierce struggle. I quickly gained the upper hand, straddling him as all the resentment from my past life transformed into the force of my fists raining down upon him. He cried out in pain, and my mother rushed to restrain me, wrapping her arms around me to subdue my hands, while Zhou Yunwu rolled over and landed a few blows on me. I could have broken free from my mother's grip, but I feared she might hurt herself, which would jeopardize my chance of attending university. My mother still held me tightly, advising Zhou Yunwu, Xiao Wu, stop fighting, he is your brother. Marrying Xu Wen could also be quite good. You should accept your fate. I refused to accept my fate. Zhou Yunwu forcefully pushed my mother aside and stumbled into my room, rummaging for my university admission letter. My mother fell to the floor, clutching her waist in pain. I ignored her pleading gaze and walked away. The further I went, the quieter her cries became, replaced by suppressed sobs. I returned to my bedroom, surveying the disarray, realizing that Zhou Yunwu had thoroughly searched the place. Where is the admission letter? Where did you hide it? Zhou Yunwu shouted in frustration. I crossed my arms, silently watching him lose his mind. Such an important document would never be left in a perilous household. Not only the admission letter but all my significant documents were secured with my second uncle. He was my father's younger brother, and their bond was strong. My second uncle often expressed guilt, believing that my father worked himself to death to support his education. After my father's passing, my second uncle took care of our family, sending money and tickets to my mother every month. She often claimed to be the one raising me, yet I knew the truth. It was my second uncle who financed our family of 3, while I contributed my efforts. My second uncle was the most caring person in the world, loving me 1,000 times more than my mother. In my previous life, upon learning that I had relinquished my chance at education to my brother, he had urged me countless times to reconsider. Even if I was reluctant to expose my brother's deceit, I could still pick up my studies and reapply to university. I longed to study, but each time I attempted to pick up my books, Xu Wen and my mother would create a ruckus, fearing that I would grow wings and abandon them, just as my brother had. My second uncle would come to counsel me, only for my mother and Xu Wen to stir up trouble, and when they threatened me with their lives, I ultimately capitulated, uttering harsh words to my second uncle, prompting him to give up on me. I left the disheveled room as it was and lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling, waiting for dawn. I had no intention of remaining in this household any longer. With only 2 days until my planned departure, I resolved to hide at my second uncle's place at first light to avoid any complications. Suddenly, a cloud of smoke seeped through the gap under the door, prompting me to rise and investigate. I pushed against the door, only to find it locked from the outside with an iron bolt. The voice of Zhou Yunwu resonated from outside. Zhou Yunwen, hand over the admission notice. If you don't, you shall not pass through this door. How can I give you the notice if you won't open the door? I retorted. Slide it through the crack. Realizing Zhou Yunwu was not easily deceived, I admitted the truth. Zhou Yunwu, the admission notice is not with me. He chuckled, a triumphant and derisive laughter. No admission notice means no college for you. If I can't attend university, neither shall you, Zhou Yunwen. I had already been confined in this room for a full day and night. As the time for university enrollment drew perilously close, I found myself powerless, merely lying on the floor. This time, Zhou Yunwu, that brutish little man, had outsmarted me. He not only locked me in but also drugged me with the veterinary medicine used to sedate a bull in heat. I paid dearly for my blind confidence. I had thought that if I were cautious enough and resolute enough, neither my mother nor Zhou Yunwu could do anything to me. I wanted to stay behind and witness the regret on their faces for my selfless sacrifices. Whether they would regret it or not, I did. I should not have been so overconfident as to gamble my future. Xu Wen, Mom. I mustered all my strength to crawl to the door, pleading, Mom, I beg you, let me out. Allow me to attend university. I won't need to pay tuition. I won't spend a penny of the family's money, and I will earn money to support you. After a long silence, I finally heard my mother's hesitant voice. But Xiaowu, sensing a glimmer of hope, I coaxed her. Mom, Xiaowu and I are brothers. There are no grudges between us. If I do well, I will also help him. Mom, I have never asked you for anything my entire life. I am asking you just this once. Please help me. The silence outside lingered, and just as despair began to envelop me, I finally heard the sound of keys unlocking the door. At that moment, Zhou Yunwu's chilling voice interrupted. Mom, if you let Zhou Yunwen go to university, I will kill myself. You must choose, me or him. My mother's hand froze in its motion. The transition from hope to despair took mere seconds. Tick-tock. I counted the seconds of despair until I heard my mother's voice. Xu Wen, just listen to your brother. Indeed. I murmured to myself. Mom, why can't you stand by my side just this once? Ha! Zhou Yunwen, how dare you compare yourself to me? Zhou Yunwu mocked. This was the kind of audacity only a favored child could possess. I refused to yield and retorted. Zhou Yunwu, you have the power to confine me for a lifetime, but I will eventually attend university. This family cannot hold me back. Even if I cannot go this year, next year, the year after, or even in the years to come, I will eventually go to college. You will never set foot in one. I was taken aback, confused. What do you mean? Literally. Zhou Yunwu elongated his tone, revealing his malicious plan. Mom and I have chosen a bride for you. It's Zhang Dashi from the village. You know her, right? That crazy woman? You want to study? Fine, as long as you bring your crazy bride along. TSK. Zhou Yunwen, you said you wouldn't marry Xu Wen. Are you happy now marrying Zhang Dashi? Mom, is this true? I had lost all hope in Zhou Yunwu and Xu Wen. Yet I still held a flicker of hope for my mother. After all, I was her flesh and blood. Xu Wen, perhaps Dashi isn't as insane as the village says. I erupted into uncontrollable laughter, realizing that the greatest joke I had ever heard came from my mother. Zhang Dashi isn't that bad. Why don't you let Zhou Yunwu marry her? I tell you, I will not marry anyone, not even if I die. You. My mother was so furious she could barely speak, and Zhou Yunwu dragged her away. After an indeterminate period, Xu Wen's voice echoed outside. Zhou Yunwan, just listen to your brother and stay in the village. Once I marry your brother, wouldn't we all live happily together as a family of 4? I lifted my face from my knees, numbly replying, Xu Wen, you truly disgust me. You knew I liked you in my past life, didn't you? You also know you were abandoned by my brother, just as I was a victim. But you dare not admit you are a discarded woman and cling to your false pride, venting all the grievances you suffered from my brother onto me. You don't want me to leave. You wish to keep me as a backup, unwilling to let go of someone so useful. I truly despise using such a term, but it is the accurate depiction of my past self, an infatuated fool. You were spoiled by me in your past life. You never lifted a finger for housework or farming. After all these years, do you still know how to do those things? Xu Wen, you are the one hiding the deepest secrets. Pure as a white lotus yet so sly. I spit. The sound of your voice makes me nauseous. In that moment, I realized I genuinely felt no stirring of affection for Xu Wen anymore. It was merely a result of my past life, being so starved for female companionship that I hung onto the crooked tree that was Xu Wen. Xu Wen, both shocked and furious, stammered, You. Yes, I too have been reborn. I felt pity, sorrow, and rage for my former self. Leave. Get as far away from me as possible. Xu Wen's face turned pale. She thought her sudden appearance would earn her some goodwill, making Zhou Yunwan grateful. But to her surprise, her expression hardened, realizing that Zhou Yunwan had no reason to overlook her. Her gaze fell upon the woodshed not far away. Since he did not love her, she thought, then let it be destroyed. Fire! Fire! Someone's house is burning, shouted a villager. My mother, curious, inquired, whose house is on fire? Suifan, why are you still wandering outside? It's your house that's burning. By the time my mother arrived, she found half of our home charred, while Zhou Yunwan had vanished without a trace. Grabbing the dazed Xu Wen, she asked, Where is my Xu Wen? Is he all right? Xu Wen pushed my mother aside, bitterly stating, He has gone, never to return. Gone, never to return? My mother's voice trembled as she sat on the ground, her mind lost, unconcerned about the house that had burned or the missing Zhou Yunwu. It was as if she had suddenly awakened to a shallow realization of maternal love. Xu Wen had intended to burn me alive, but my second uncle saved me. He carried me away, hastening towards the town. As we passed the panicked Xu Wen, I softly murmured, Don't be afraid. I won't tell on you. We shall never meet again. I knew my words would ignite her fantasies, making her believe I still had feelings for her. Oh, how intentional that was. Let her and my brother torment each other. In the future, any little misfortune in their lives would amplify her resentment towards me. She was that type of person, never satisfied. Moreover, I had no evidence that she had set the fire, so she would not receive the punishment she deserved. My second uncle carried me to the village entrance, and Xu Wen hurried after us, her eyes pleading, Zhou Yunwan, let us talk. I agreed, while my second uncle glared at Xu Wen from a distance, as if guarding precious cabbage from being devoured by pigs. Speak, I said, looking at this woman before me, devoid of love or hate, my gaze as calm as that of a stranger. Xu Wen, please don't look at me like that. Xu Wen pleaded, blocking my eyes with her hand, her voice tinged with tears. With nothing left to say, I turned to leave. Don't go, Xu Wen. When you were in the fire, I realized I loved you. Can you? I suppressed the nausea rising within me and replied, Xu Wen, we are fated to be apart in this life. You should live well with my brother. As for our previous life, let us consider it merely a dream. Having said that, I felt it was sufficient. As my second uncle and I departed, behind us came Xu Wen's anguished cries, echoing with my name. Yet neither of us looked back. 11, you still dare to smile? Do you have any idea that you were on the brink of death? Uncle scolded, pressing his hand against my forehead. I'm sorry, Uncle, I replied obediently, accepting my fault. In my previous life, I was ensnared by Xu Wen and my mother, trapped in the village under the guise of love, toiling in the fields, supporting the elderly, and serving them like a beast of burden. In this life, I have finally escaped that cage. I am truly elated. I stretch my arms wide, embracing the breath of freedom that lies beyond. From now on, with the sky high and the sea vast, no one shall confine me again. You have such audacity, Uncle remarked, noticing my face blackened by smoke, still unaware of where I might be hurt, and quickened our pace back to town. He couldn't help but resent Auntie for pushing a good child like me to such extremes. I smiled broadly and said, "Is it any wonder that Auntie claims I share your temper? We are both as stubborn as mules. Looking for a fight, are we?" We both burst into laughter. After I solemnly swore that aside from my exhaustion, I was in perfect health, Uncle decided against taking me to the hospital and instead took me home. Standing at the doorway, I gazed at the bright and tidy living room, hesitant to step inside. "What's the matter? Do I need to invite you in?" Auntie had prepared dinner early and was smiling at me. Seeing my reluctance, she came out and gently pulled me inside. Auntie radiated a warmth of love. I spent the happiest day since my rebirth at Uncle's home. During the night, as I got up, I overheard a conversation between Uncle and Auntie. Auntie's voice was tinged with tears. "You've often helped your brother's family, and I've never complained. But look at how small one is today. When I held him, it was like holding a rock. How does your sister-in-law raise her children?" "All right, let us not say too much. The child might hear. I'll say no more. One is going to college, and you must allocate part of the money and tickets you send to your sister-in-law to him, or I won't let this go." "I know. How did I end up marrying such a wonderful wife like you?" I pressed my hand against my mouth to stifle my sobs. Uncle had struggled financially for our family over the years. Even my cousins had chosen to live at school to save money. With such kind-hearted Uncle and Auntie, how could I bear to burden them further? 12 Xu Wen, come out for dinner. Auntie called at the door, but received no response. She pushed the door open, only to find the room empty. Atop the table lay a letter and a loan note I had left behind. In 1977, not only was college tuition waived, but there was also a subsidy of 23 yuan. I entered university, living a life that was both frugal and fulfilling. I subsisted on steamed buns, doing my utmost to save money to send back to Uncle and Auntie. Their kindness motivated me to repay them. Their presence filled the void of familial affection in my heart. I clung to them like a drowning person, terrified of disappointing them in any way. My major was foreign languages, a field I had never ventured into in my past life. Rebirth did not grant me any academic advantages, and with classmates competing fiercely, rising early and sleeping late, I found myself immersed in an environment where everyone was striving for excellence. Even in my dreams, I was memorizing vocabulary. The intense studying took a toll on my nutrition. I became severely malnourished and eventually collapsed in class. When I opened my eyes, I was surrounded by classmates who had learned of my condition. They offered to help me take notes, suggesting relatives who could tutor me for extra income and so on. Not a single person exhibited disdain for the impoverished glimpse I had shown. It was my first profound experience of camaraderie among classmates. We argued over who had the most accurate pronunciation, fixated on each other's grades, all striving for progress together. Professor Chin, who taught our major course, shooed away the noisy classmates and handed me an envelope, stating sternly, "Consider this a loan for your nutrition. Your health is paramount for your future contributions to the nation. You can repay me when you have the means. If not, you are not allowed to attend my classes. You must adhere to my rules." Holding the envelope from Professor Chin, warmth surged through my previously barren heart. I accepted everyone's kindness and meticulously recorded each act of goodwill in my notebook. Although my classmates and teachers expected nothing in return, I was determined to repay their kindness, whether by bringing them hot water or sharing a meal, doing whatever was within my capacity. I studied even more diligently, striving to honor their assistance and respect myself. 3 months later, Uncle arrived at my school, weary and disheveled, and publicly chastised me. It turned out that after I left, he had been sending me money and tickets, but they were returned due to an incorrect address. Furthermore, they had received the 20 yuan I sent back each month, causing them great anxiety. He had finally taken a few days off to travel day and night to find me. His appearance was haggard, dark circles under his eyes, looking as if he could collapse from exhaustion at any moment, yet his punches were still quite powerful. I pleaded for forgiveness, nearly kneeling in apology, before he grudgingly forgave me. From Uncle, I learned that since my departure, he had halved the money sent to my mother. Zhou Yunwu had come to confront my mother several times, but ultimately retreated when Auntie threatened to cut off support. Uncle, fearing my anger, cautiously explained, Xu Wen, I can't completely disregard them. They are our family. Seeing my silence, he quickly added, but you don't need to worry about them. Just focus on your studies. I'll ensure they survive. My laughter shattered the silence. I understand. Uncle, don't worry. I've long ceased to care about them. Uncle sighed in relief. He sent money to Zhou Yunwu for Xu Wen's sake, fearing they might cause trouble at school. However, he planned to keep this information from me, vowing to keep a watchful eye on Zhou Yunwu and the others. We sat at the school gate, chatting casually, mostly with Uncle sharing news. He mentioned that he had given Zhou Yunwu some money, and he still ended up marrying Xu Wen. He also noted that my mother had secretly inquired about my school's address several times, but he had withheld that information. He remarked that my mother appeared significantly aged, with half her hair turned gray and looking increasingly haggard. I smirked internally. Among my mother, Zhou Yunwu and Xu Wen, only my mother was the soft target, while Zhou Yunwu and Xu Wen were both formidable. Together, they were most likely to bully her. Uncle, noticing my cold demeanor, abandoned his intentions of reconciling me with my family. After all, he had learned about my university situation from others, and considering he had saved me from that fire, his mind was filled with unspoken thoughts. This time, Uncle brought me money and provisions prepared by Auntie. As I watched him leave the city, tears streamed down my face, and the once blurred image of my father began to take shape. 13. The 4 years of university swiftly passed amidst a competitive atmosphere among classmates. The unpleasant memories of my past seemed to have vanished, and I had regained my vitality, transforming into a person entirely different from before. I was confident, radiant, and brimming with life. During this time, aside from actively keeping in touch with Uncle and Auntie, I had never reached out to my mother or Xu Wen. Strangely, as I completely detached my feelings from my mother and Xu Wen, it seemed as though they had suddenly awakened to their emotions concerning me. They both sent me letters, along with packages filled with food and essentials and even money and tickets. Yet I returned each and every item, for I wished to sever all ties with them in this lifetime. During my 4 years of university, my mother visited me at school twice. Now, at not yet 50, she appears older than she did in my past life when she was in her 60s or 70s. This is understandable. In my previous existence, I was there to care for her meticulously, allowing her to do nothing but speak. In this life, my diligent and self-sacrificing self has fled, and Zhou Yunwu, being a slothful individual, left her with all the burdens. Coupled with the aggravation caused by Zhou Yunwu and Xu Wen, it is only natural for her to age rapidly. I hastily dismissed her on 2 occasions, and during our final encounter, I stated, "Do not seek me again. Once you reach the legal retirement age, I shall provide you with a monthly living allowance in accordance with the minimum living standards mandated by law. Our mother-son bond is severed. Perhaps you would not believe it, but I have supported you my entire life, bearing the weight of your grievances, and I have repaid all that is owed." Trembling, she departed from my university, and astonishingly, we truly ceased to disturb one another thereafter. Upon graduation, my exemplary academic performance, coupled with the recommendation of my professors, enabled me to secure a position within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As my work grew increasingly demanding, I sent my entire monthly salary to my uncle and his family. When they refused to accept it, I would return the letters, leaving them with no choice but to accept my generosity. I remained unattached. Despite the presence of numerous admirable suitors who shared my ideals, I consistently turned them down. It was not fear that motivated my rejections, but rather a lack of interest. I felt utterly indifferent to women, love, and marriage. The disastrous love of my past life had shattered my heart, and in this life, I sought only to repay my country and those who aided me during my struggles. Initially, my uncle and his wife attempted to persuade me otherwise, but eventually, they saw that I was content living alone and ceased their efforts. After my uncle and aunt retired, I invited them to move to the capital to live with me, under the pretense of providing them with a change of scenery. Over the years, the money I had sent them was saved untouched, and upon their visit, they returned it to me. After thoughtful consideration, I accepted the funds and borrowed additional debt from a few friends to purchase a courtyard house in a prime area for my uncle and aunt to reside in. They claimed it was a waste, yet once they settled in, their joy was unmistakable. My uncle's new pastime became strolling through the park, engaging with the local elders, while my aunt embarked on a second career, starting a small business in the capital. When she expressed her desire to venture into business, she furtively gauged my reaction, fearing I would find it shameful. I smiled warmly and assured her, "As long as you are happy, I shall be your strongest support." I shall never forget the warmth of my aunt's embrace when I was anxious about soiling her living room. As my younger cousins matured and entered the workforce, I eagerly recommended they come to the capital for employment. Not only was there great potential for their development, but I also selfishly wished to keep my uncle and aunt close by. Even if work prevented us from seeing each other daily, knowing that someone awaited my return in this city brought me peace. My words held weight in my uncle's household, and my cousins valued my opinion, indeed moving to the capital to strive for their futures. As long as they adhered to organizational discipline, I poured my efforts into assisting them in every aspect of life. Accommodations, transportation, work. I took great care in all matters, and I was never stingy with finances. They proudly proclaimed me their elder brother to anyone they met, and I listened with a smile. What one sows, one reaps. I am the fruit of my uncle and aunt's nurturing. I believe that, in this life, I have attained fulfillment. "Aunt Xuefen, are you home?" Zhang Xuefen stood before the television, unsure when Xu Wen would appear, resorting to the simplest method of waiting by the screen. Ah, there he is. Her age was evident, her once nimble limbs now frail, as she slowly shuffled towards the yard, supported by a cane. Cui Xiuxiu gazed at the dilapidated house, perplexed by the old woman's situation. It was said that in her youth, she favored her younger son, driving away her capable eldest. She knew that younger son well. He was an uneducated wastrel. His wife was a shrew, and they frequently quarreled. One could only say that evildoers attract their own kind. As long as no lives were lost, the villagers had grown accustomed to the chaos, their curiosity long since faded. Cui Xiuxiu felt only sympathy for the solitary elder, pitiful and abandoned, languishing in the decaying, malodorous house, murmuring the name of her eldest, Zhou Yunwan. "My child, when will you return home? No matter how late it is, mother will be waiting for you." Xiao and Zhou Yunwan.
Cui Xiuxiu recognized Xu Yunwen.
Often seeing him on television advocating for Huagua. Alas, one could only conclude that this old woman, pitiful though she may be, must also contain elements of disdain. "Aunt Xuefen, here is the living allowance that Xiaowen sent you this month." Zhang Xuefen tremulously accepted it, carefully tucking it into her pocket. This was her only connection to Zhou Yunwan. After Zhang Xuefen turned 60, Zhou Yunwan indeed sent her money each month as promised. "Aunt Xuefen, the room in your house has been burned for nearly 20 years. You should find someone to repair it once you receive the funds." "Ah, all right." Cui Xiuxiu sighed, realizing that while Aunt Xuefen agreed, whether she would actually take action was another matter entirely. Shortly after Cui Xiuxiu departed, Zhou Yunwu kicked open the rickety old door and bellowed, "You old hag, Zhou Yunwen sent you money again today, didn't he? Hand it over. You're watching television again? No matter how much you watch, Zhou Yunwan will not return." After Zhou Yunwu had vented his anger, he left, content with the money. Zhang Xuefen muttered dully, "It's all karma, all karma." With the money in hand, Zhou Yunwu swaggered home after spending it frivolously with his mistress. "Where have you been?" "None of your business." Zhou Yunwu sneered at the disheveled Xu Wen. Upon noticing the red marks on Zhou Yunwu's neck, Xu Wen was enraged and began to grapple with him. In that moment, they appeared less like a married couple and more like enemies eager to destroy one another, hurling the most venomous curses. Eventually, they resorted to physical combat. However, Xu Wen, emaciated and frail, was no match for the overweight Zhou Yunwu, who overpowered her and beat her to the ground. Once he had sufficiently vented his frustration, Zhou Yunwu spat at her and swaggered away. Xu Wen lay motionless on the floor, reflecting on her painful existence. She could not comprehend how her life had come to this. Having married Zhou Yunwu as she had wished, she found her circumstances far worse than in her previous life. In her past existence, she had been cherished by Zhou Yunwan, free from the burdens of household chores or worries. In this life, neither she nor Zhou Yunwu had jobs, and while they had once relied on her uncle's family for support, that assistance ceased once they moved to the capital to live with Zhou Yunwan. With no money to spend, Zhou Yunwu resorted to begging, demanding Xu Wen sell herself, pressuring her mother for money, and even shamelessly soliciting funds from her family, which caused her parents to fall ill with worry, severing ties with her. The Zhou Yunwu who had perished young in the past had, in this life, grown stronger amidst their mutual torment, while Xu Wen's own health deteriorated. Coughing up blood, Xu Wen realized Zhou Yunwu had struck her too hard this time. Curled up on the ground, she felt pain and coldness envelop her. Regret washed over her as she longed for Zhou Yunwen. Without him, she realized she was nothing. Meanwhile, Zhou Yunwen thrived without her. Xu Wen, come back. I no longer wish to marry that scoundrel Zhou Yunwu. I promise to be the best partner with you. Xu Wen reached toward the blazing sun, but the sun remained silent, suspended in the vast sky. The story concludes here. Thank you for listening. We shall meet again in the next tale.